All right, well, hey everybody, how's everybody doing? This is
good.
the Review Dudes. Jason here.
And Josh.
And PJ.
This week we are... Well, what have we been up to lately, I guess, before we get to the review?
All kinds of excitement.
Yeah, anybody,
So many exciting things.
You guys watch any what have you been watching lately?
I've been mostly staying caught up on What We Do in the Dark, the TV series.
I've been meaning to watch that.
It's wonderful.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I'm like, yes, this is what I need to watch.
It's
That's
horror
the one
enough.
based off a movie, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie?
I actually have not. So I'm being a total poser there.
That happens. I've been trying to catch up on movies in general. I went back and watched 13 Ghosts. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
That's a good one.
But I love that movie.
Speaking of 13 Ghosts, did you catch the Matthew Lillard interview with Bloody Disgusting? Not a sponsor.
No.
He is 100% on the campaign of his character is still alive.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, and he's like, we need to change this now. Like, my guy never died on screen. Like, he's still alive. Like, come on, let's get to it.
He
I'm
did
still
die
alive.
on screen, didn't he? I thought his back was broken and stuff.
No,
Hey,
he's stabbed in the back, I think.
I know people who've broken their backs. So He's still
Stone
out
Cold
there.
probably broke his back and wrestled the next day, man.
But Lillard's 100%. He's on the camp of
I'm down
bring
with
me
that.
back.
Because, yeah, it was like watching it, like, yeah, it's got its like certain campinesses, but the idea behind it, the set design was amazing. Lillard was a great performance.
I don't think it was campy at all. I love that
there was-
movie.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say campy, but there was just certain
It's the glasses. isn't it?
lightheartedness, maybe, I guess, about it. And what I really liked about the main character in the movie, played by dude who played Adrian Monk,
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub,
Yeah.
yeah.
What I loved about his character is the whole time they're like, oh, these ancient ghosts. He's like, I don't care. I'm trying to find my kids. Like, no, you know, it's these ghosts and these spells. No. I don't care. I'm trying to find my kid. I really enjoyed that.
Right.
As he's like cleaning everything and staying away from germs.
But yeah, so that was a good one to go back and check out because, like I said, it's been years since I've seen it. But I also watched the new VHS. We might do a review on that in a few weeks, maybe, because it just came out, so it's kind of.
I need to get into it.
Give it another shot. Like I said,
hard.
I might have had my bar lowered, but I enjoyed it a lot. I was impressed with what they were able to accomplish in it, and
The thing about the VHS movies is, I believe they came to Netflix first. Is that where the first ones were through?
I think so.
Maybe we're wrong there, but it took me a really long time to watch the first VHS.
Yeah.
And then I watched it, I'm like, oh my God, I got to see the next one. And I watched that one, I'm like, yeah. And so when I saw that came out, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I got to get on this now.
Yeah.
So I came in like expecting Academy Awards there.
Oh.
So that was probably my
That's-
fault. But
Academy
Knowing-
Awards from VHS.
knowing how the other ones are, like, I'm not expecting.
I know I've
like,
seen the first two, but I
Yeah.
don't remember them. And I'm going to go back and watch them, but like I said, I know I've seen them. I don't remember much about them.
The only thing I can remember, I think, from the first one's that like sketchy shadow dude coming through the woods.
I don't even remember that.
And maybe what we'll do in the future then too, maybe we'll do a review on that series and see how well it holds
and
up.
catch
That'd
up.
be cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
Because the first
That's
two are
mine.
amazing. And I truly wanted the newest one. It might be the fourth, I'm not sure. But I wanted the newest one to just instantly draw me
And you
in.
still got to finish it, though, right?
Oh, I'm only like 25 minutes into it.
Oh,
I had
yeah,
to-
yeah,
I
you
had to
definitely
stop.
Oh, it gets real good at 26 minutes.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah. Yeah, definitely give it a chance. So anyways, all right, well, so this episode's more so specifically about bad candy.
Bad candy.
So we all sat together and watched. I think we discussed that last time, but we
Yeah,
all sat
last
together
episode.
and watched it together for the first time. Then we individually kind of went back and watched it painfully. and
You're not supposed to spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
went through our, made notes about it. But Bad Candy is about, well, do you have the synopsis?
Yeah, I got
over
the
there?
synopsis here. Well, first off, it's written by Desiree Connell, Scott B. Hansen, and Thacker Hoffman. And it's also directed by Desiree Connell and Scott B. Hansen. The synopsis of Bad Candy. On Halloween night in New Salem, radio DJs Chili Billy and Paul tell a twisted anthology of terrifying local myths that lead to a grim end for small-town residents. That's the whole synopsis.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, though, I have to appreciate how their names are Chili Billy
And Paul.
and
Paul.
I don't know how far we want to get into this before we go into more spoiler
Yeah.
territory. We could definitely do our rating on it and then maybe talk a little bit lightly about it.
Yeah. So I guess so the system we've come up with was, if it's good enough to add to our collection, will we watch it again, or is it a hard pass? We never want to see it ever again. This one for me is definitely a hard pass.
I'm going to have to go hard pass also.
I am definitely with you guys on that
Yeah.
because this.
I mean,
like
if
you
it was
said,
on, somebody was watching it, I would sit there and try not to complain too much, knowing
No.
how bad it
No,
is.
I'd go get stuff out of the kitchen.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
like spoiling it for the. I'd be like, oh, this next scene, like you might as well just turn this off and put something else on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna completely ruin this movie for that person because I just don't. I sat through this twice.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what our that's our general review of it.
Which sucks.
Which
Yeah.
sucks. And
I
we'll
wanted
get
this.
better at that.
I wanted this to be the next Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
I
Right.
love anthologies. Like that's. I just, there's a time and a place for an anthology, and I think definitely Halloween is always it.
Yeah.
To showcase these quick little shorts, especially when they try to tie them together like Trick or Treat. I think it's awesome. I love it. And VHS obviously is an
Yeah.
anthology series as well. I really get into these, even if they don't tie in.
Right.
It's an awesome concept of a
Yeah.
movie, but man, this one.
And it,
Well, tell you what. Before we kind of get into the details of it, what are some things that you guys liked about the movie? Was there anything you guys did like about it?
some of the makeup designs were pretty cool. Like we'll get it. Like there's a couple monster designs in it that I enjoyed. There's a couple that were god awful, but
I'm wondering
you
how-
could tell that there was a lot of work put into a couple of them.
I'm wondering how well we're gonna agree on all this because there was like I kind of have similar notes to that.
Yeah.
Like I really liked a couple of them, and like one in particular was kind of like but I just there was so little of this movie that I was like I like that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure. Or at least even like, okay, I understand what they were going with here.
Right.
It was mostly just like, no, these are fails. These
There's-
are hard fails.
2 times I'm like I get where this is going, and
Yeah.
the whole movie, and that was just bad.
Well, I did like kind of right off the bat, they did have like some little Easter eggs from other horror movies too. You know, you got your Elm Street, your Book of the Dead in the treehouse and everything.
Yep.
So I thought it was kind
Yeah,
of
that
cool
was-
to kind
that was
of
cool.
pick apart a few things here and there to kind of. This is what they're paying montage to, you know.
Yeah. Montage, homage.
Homage. Homage. Not
Homage.
montage.
Should I say montage?
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's the new word for it.
I like it. We're gonna use that. Anyways,
Homage.
Homage.
yeah, I did. Obviously, these guys are horror fans. Like you said, they're paying montage to things that we noticed. So
we
like,
warned you. We're idiots.
Yeah.
They obviously are horror fans, and man, I just don't want to get too far into that conversation either yet.
The acting was it was rough. I mean, in general, to like if you're gonna see the movie, just expect it to have really, really bad acting in it.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I guess if you want to watch it, if you're interested in it, obviously go for it. But I just wouldn't expect to be wowed by it by any means.
Definitely another thing is, like, I kind of did a little bit of looking up on some of these people because this is one of those movies where you don't really recognize anybody from other films.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, a lot of them were coming from, like, a TV series, or they were coming from, like, on-stage plays and whatnot like that. So, not necessarily bad acting, just kind of like amateurs finding their way.
Right.
So it's not necessarily like, you're a bad actor, you need to quit.
I could definitely tell the difference between the starting actors and then the people that are like, we saw this guy on the street and was like, hey, will you be in our movie?
Or
Right,
like,
you know,
or like, hey buddy, haven't seen you in a while, you want to be in a movie?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I want to be in a movie, that sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to roll on into the
All right, so
spoilers?
that was kind of the spoiler-free aspect. If you don't want to hear spoilers, I'd say stop now, or just keep listening. You know, it's all good. But we're gonna kind of get into our in-depth, piece-by-piece
breakdown.
of this movie.
We broke it down.
Break it down.
Maybe we'll do a music thing here. Dun, 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 dun. Probably not.
That was enough of the
That was
music
it.
thing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Plenty.
Effortless.
All right, so yeah, so the movie starts. Circled around a little girl and her drunken stepdad, which
Yeah.
you know they kind of get into.
Which hates Halloween.
He
for
hates
some
Halloween
reason.
so much, and he randomly runs people over on the street without noticing it somehow.
Just like, honestly, it was completely unneeded. The whole short there, I'm like, okay, when are we gonna get back to why this dude mowed this guy down?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Things happen for no reason, and they never touch on it.
I don't know if that was just like showing that he is,
A drunk idiot?
yeah, or
Maybe.
capable of murdering people without caring.
I mean, it was almost like a Mr. Bean sketch. He kind of he's like
Yeah.
reaching for something,
Yeah.
hits a guy,
Yeah. That's,
and then like looks back up like, what was that? And it's like, I'm expecting the guy to get up all broken and hurt later and
like
be
brush
like,
himself
oh,
off.
that really...
And the
you know?
CG blood on the bumper that doesn't show up ever again.
Yeah, just
Right.
doesn't- well, he obviously knows by then he hit something, so he goes to the car wash. Duh,
I
let's pick
guess,
that up.
That's assumed.
This little girl was so confusing to me because her friend seemingly knew she could do this drawing of demons. Like,
Yeah.
everything she draws in her notebook comes to life. And her one friend stops her, and she's like, "Whoa, remember what happened last year?"
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering also, does this only happen on Halloween? Like, is that why the stepdad hates Halloween? Is that what we're supposed to piece together ourselves? But then, like, this treehouse gang, you don't see him again except for, like, the last minute of this short.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's, like, this asshole little kid being a bully, kicking pumpkins.
Who's like 10.
And that's who they
If that,
focus on,
yeah.
this, like, rando that you don't even need to invest in. They just focused on him.
Yeah.
Right.
And that brings us into the demonic clown that she drew.
The clown, yeah. So the clown didn't really, to me, in general of the film, didn't make a lot of sense. Was he punishing people? Was he I mean, it was just kind of like he was randomly being evil.
I went
or
so much in my
whatever.
notes that I even broke that guy down.
Did you?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, Josh.
See, I think there was so much potential with a lot of these characters that they just refused to flesh out whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you have to just kind of guess and fill in for yourself, but
Yeah.
there's not enough to fill in an actual like cohesive idea or thought. Because like this evil clown, it seems like he's kind of like the defender of Halloween, you know, or
Yeah, and
In
he's
some
like,
points
he's
of it,
definitely
yeah.
stopping kids from harm.
right.
Like, he's not harming these little kids other than the asshole.
Other than the asshole 10-year-old.
Yeah, like, the further along, like, one of the next shorts, he shows up and stops a kid from eating poisoned candy.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, it's just really muddy and weird who this guy is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And, like, I kind of understand after breaking him down, like, I did not like his appearance at all.
Right.
It wasn't like oh, I'm scared of clowns. It's kind of like it's so cheesy. But then at the
Right.
same time, it's like a little girl drew this.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, I'm trying to give it a little bit more credit. Like, this is a little girl.
The face that they put on the clown too was like, this is a cool Halloween mask if you saw it in a store.
Right.
But is this a movie? Like, shouldn't that
Is this a demonic clown?
Shouldn't that be his face as opposed to a mask? Which you know what I mean?
Yeah,
kind
and
of
it's
thing.
almost like they. So like, I'm certain one of the later monsters is pretty much all of our favorite.
Yeah.
It seems like they probably put all their money into that.
Yeah.
And then just kind of built around it. Like, okay, we got $50. Like, run down to Party City and see what you can find.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to get too far ahead either, but the how the clown appears at the end, like right before the end of the movie, like that would have been so much better the entire movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just as cheap, but there's a story behind that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It worked better. It was more cohesive. Well, and shrinking the 10-year-old down into like this weird friggin'
Porcelain
doll thing.
And showing like a lair. Like there's this whole background to this character. He's got this lair of like
it's not so much a layer, it's like a shrine to to the character Kira, because that's what she walks out to later. We find out that he's like taking all the asshole kids and taking their candy and putting it for her, the little girl that draws.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
So because there's a note for Kira and she's like happy and like, oh, look at all these little shrunken assholes and all their candy I get to eat now.
See, that kind of makes me like her better now all of a sudden. Like, she's actually the bad guy in this.
At the same point of you justifying the clown as the protector of Halloween, I kind of have to go along the lines of she's the actual protector of Halloween, like keeping the Halloween spirits alive by shrinking asshole kids into porcelain dolls and eating all their candy.
Yeah, maybe. So then, okay, so you get in. There's the treehouse kids who it didn't seem like they vibed very well as friends, like in the movie, which it's fine. They're kid actors. I get it, but I think that was just bad directing.
And they had a film time of about 3 minutes and 40 seconds on screen together. So it's probably not like your Stranger Things kids that spend years together growing up. But,
true.
But I know exactly what you're talking
about. Kids. Come on, Jason.
I hate kids so much.
I wanted so bad the Treehouse Gang to just be like a thing. Like I wanted to see more about that. They got this badass treehouse they show for 1 minute.
Yeah.
And characters that could have been interesting.
Yeah.
You have the deaf girl, you have the older teenager, you got
the kind of misfits kids. Or whatever, kind of thing. That could have been cool. They could have done something with that, or at least brought him in here and there a little more.
Or like even instead of this clown, just make these kids beat the shit out of the assholes and steal their candy.
Yeah. Kid power.
It'd probably be the wrong image, but I guess this whole movie was pretty much the wrong image to do anything. Do we want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. So okay. So what the next thing is? She gets called home by drunken stepdad.
Oh, okay.
And then she, and he's hates on Halloween. He's wrecking
all the props that he bought for the house.
Yeah, and set up. I assume, okay, that makes sense.
The whole 3 things he had outside.
So, kid gets mad and draws some more monsters. So, let's talk about these designs. So, the fairy... is so...
Seriously.
So bad. Like, it was like, okay, that looks like a decent Halloween costume for somebody. Again... But not a movie
for a full
thing.
feature film.
Like that is the cheapest, crappiest makeup of all time, I think.
Ever.
And whoever did the CG fairy wings, I was watching it again. It's like they just keep blipping in and out of existence and out of proportion and out of alignment. And I'm just like, what has happened? Like the first time I didn't notice it's so bad, because it's such a weird thing to look at. But when you're seeing it the second time, you're like, wow, I can really look at this and see how bad it is.
Well, the CG across the whole movie was awful.
Yeah, it was
terrible.
Rough. There were a couple places that enhanced, but it was few and far between. That's for
Must
sure.
have missed those.
This sketch wasn't even the one I didn't like the most. But obviously, like, this girl's got this cool ability. And then she, like, I'm assuming draws her mother and brings her mother in.
That's what that's the vibe.
It's kind of like, okay, you got these weird, cheap CG characters. Like, why not just do a story about how this stepdad, like, beat the shit out of his wife and killed her, and then you draw the wife to come back for revenge?
For that vengeance, right?
Yeah. Like, there's so much better things they could have done with the 9-10 minutes this short was.
And it was like even if you're gonna be ambitious enough to be like, okay, we're gonna have Ghost Mom suck the blood and soul out of this guy, I guess, from his eyes and blah blah, and like saying that, okay, you could probably come up with something kind of interesting to look at, but when you make it this brightly lit thing of this really bad CG, and it's just like you're just begging to be criticized, I think, almost. You know what I mean? Like, it's rough. And I think
your house is falling down, Josh.
What is that?
Must be the dog. I don't know. We can cut
this. We'll cut this part out.
No, don't cut this part out.
Don't cut
it's gold.
Go ahead and make sure that bathroom door is closed, because I think my dog is just digging into the bathroom, and that's terrible.
We're gonna have to clacker.
All right.
Dude. Yeah. I'm just gonna kick these.
Yeah, just make sure the door closes.
Dude, these are things I don't want to touch with my hands.
Just pick them in there. Don't pick them up. I'll have Danny pick them up.
We definitely have to leave this in there. Just the pain that I'm feeling from him is more entertaining than the movie.
Go. The bucket out of here.
I don't want to touch this. It touched me.
Dude, you don't want to know.
Icky.
Don't want to know. All right, Jesus Christ.
Clackety clack.
All right. So we were talking about the bad CG effects that could have been done a better way. I think something we've talked about before is these low budget movies need to know their limits.
Right.
And they need to understand that these really bad CG stuff takes you out of the moment and just makes you go, wow, that looks like shit. You know, so instead of trying that, like, do something else. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm not in the industry. Maybe there's, like, you know, the studio, no, we'll just do it this way. But it's like, it takes you out of the moment.
Well, there's cheaper and easier ways to do a lot of things when you do them practically also.
That's what I was getting to. I feel like that whole first sketch could have just been all practical effects. I don't feel like they needed whatever the weird little CG monster was.
Like puppet monster?
Yeah, that could have just been a puppet.
It was a puppet, I think.
Yeah. Was it just a
it might have been enhanced
just
a little bit with CG, like on the face or something.
It was a bad puppet.
Yeah,
it
just looked weird.
It was a bad puppet.
I would rather be like a Muppet. You know, like
that's what Muppets do.
A beaker.
Well,
duh. Okay, do we have anything else to say about the first?
I think we can move.
I think we can move on for sure.
I wrote in my notes puppet monster ...
Okay. I for some reason did not think that was a puppet monster. Like, I thought that was CG 100%. But again, I got so far into that story and I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah,
I was just writing notes.
Yeah.
Our second story I've called Razor Blade Candy Guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was just creepy anyways. I actually liked his character with how creepy he was.
I just feel like you could have just had the guy.
Well, right, but I think the guy was just so creepy as not an actor.
Yeah.
It worked really well for him being a creepy guy.
I saw a guy at work today.
Yeah, I guess.
I was like cruising by on the tow motor. This dude's just staring at me, and I just like I got a chill down my spine, and I was like, see, now that's the kind of guy that needs cast in a movie. Like
Right.
that dude's just naturally creepy. He's got one whited over eye. He must be blind in that eye. Just the way he's staring at me, I'm like,
He's
bro,
blind.
like, I didn't take anything from your family years ago. Like, leave me. Don't chase me.
He's got some weird curse on you now.
Yeah. But I mean, like, yes, that guy randomly is a creep.
Yeah.
So, like, just leave the creep to be a creep.
Yeah.
But he's, like, fashioning... He's literally sticking razor blades in candy bars.
Razor
And-
blades that are like that wide into candy bars.
Yeah, like,
That
the
wide.
ones that are on his table, like his workshop table that he's already made. It's like, if I picked that up as a child and could not tell there's a razor blade inside there, I deserve to eat the razor blade. It's sticking out on both ends.
It's like a 45 stuck into a candy bar.
Yeah, like,
Oh my
what-
god, where'd this gun come
This
from?
is so strange. Somebody put a gun in a candy bar.
I couldn't get the dialogue and the acting was rough for me. I mean, yeah, he was like the creepy weird guy, and I don't know. It was just like, I'm reading lines. Hey, eat this thing. Like it was just I couldn't get past
Hey,
that.
little girl, do you want a cupcake?
Yeah.
My mom would like a cupcake. Oh, I bet she's gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
He's just a weirdo. He does deliver one of my favorite lines from the movie, though. So, like, I can't completely like shit on this because, like, he receives a Jack-in-the-Box from our demonic clown reappearing, and it sprays him in the face with something, and he immediately runs to the sink. Like, he's like, I gotta wash this shit off my face. And he's washing it off his face, and then he comes to this realization that this isn't burning me. And he turns to the clown and he goes, why isn't this burning me? It's just like, that's my favorite, like, him getting sprayed in the face, immediately going to rinse his face off, and turning to the clown and be like, why isn't this burning me? That's, like, my favorite line in the whole movie, because it's like, man, if anything else was around that would have been hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just,
Yeah.
like, you immediately get sprayed in the face and you're like, oh shit,
Like, oh
I
my
need to
God.
wash this off. It's not like your trope. Like,
Right.
You know, it's like standing there like, scratching at your eyes and stuff. Like, he's like, oh, hell no. Like, I put razor blades in candy. I know that I need to get over here and wash this shit off. And then he just realizes that this isn't even burning me. Like, what is this?
Well, I do like how it started off with him going like, my eyes.
Yeah.
And like, why are you yelling? It doesn't hurt or anything.
Yeah, it's like when you're kids and somebody swings too close to you and you just immediately say, ow.
Right.
Yeah,
Even though you didn't get hit.
I still do that.
I like bump into something like, crap.
So I think
Oh,
like the
fine.
scene in general had some fun ideas in it. I think it was still badly executed.
They kind of did a little bit of character development on our demonic clown.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, we see this guy pull a shotgun and shoot him a few times, and the clown just gets back up.
Yeah.
Immortal.
However, these gloves the clown is wearing are distracting the hell out of me.
Oh, yeah.
The entire time.
The 47-inch
Yeah.
long
I
fingers.
get it. You get like
Like-
I've seen videos of like people like playing with them and like
Yeah.
they're fun. They have a
These
creepy
ones
aspect.
suck, though, man.
Yeah, because, you know, you see, like, them walking around, like, with their hands up, moving, articulating their fingers, and, like, the fingers, elongated fingers hanging down, like, moving and being all creepy.
Mhm.
But then he's, like, holding too much stuff.
Yeah.
He's, like, closing a door. He's
Yeah.
holding the
Floppy.
Jack-in-the-Box. He's holding too much stuff, and the gloves just don't serve their purpose.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like,
can see
maybe
that.
if he's like articulating his fingers and then like a blade flies out into the guy's face or something. I don't know, but him holding stuff is
If they were
making me
rigid,
angry.
it would look really
Yeah.
cool.
Because yeah, those type of glove finger things that you can't there's no strength behind them. They're very
Right.
flimsy, and when you see that being flimsy, it's like, okay, you know.
This would be the perfect time for a Hims ad.
What's
If
that?
you're-
I don't.
If you're
what is
listening,
that?
Hims,
Not a sponsor.
email us. You could
Definitely not a sponsor. We don't know what that is.
And so this story, it's just another. It's kind of. I feel like this story was just in there to develop our demonic clown character. Like, we see him take the cupcake from the little girl. So she's obviously not going to be poisoned or whatever the hell's in this cupcake. It could be
Razor bladed.
a brick of cocaine, for this matter. Like, we don't know what this guy has put in there. We
It's
see
a
the
hot
clown.
dog.
We see the clown take the cupcake, and then he goes up to the door and he knocks on the door, and then he tortures this dude, makes him eat his own razor blade. But we see the demonic clown get shot. He doesn't die, so we know that from this he's protecting Halloween for the kids that enjoy Halloween, and he's punishing the bad guys, and he is beyond mortal weapons.
Yeah.
This sounds so cool talking about it and hearing it.
I feel like we're gonna let a lot of people down because they're gonna be like, "Let's go watch this movie right now," and then they're gonna be like, "Ah, damn it!"
Either that, or we're going to convince ourselves that we end up liking it.
Right,
somehow.
right.
No, there's
Like, it's gonna come full
there-
circle to be like, you know what? Actually, it wasn't that fucking bad.
There are two scenes that I just cannot get behind
Yeah.
at all. Or two shorts that I just cannot get behind at all. I've tried and tried and tried.
So, okay. So moving on to the next one, then we've kind of
Yeah,
dealt with the
what was the
candy
next
guy.
story here?
The next
next
one
one is the
on
drug
my
dealer.
list is the drug dealer, the
Nice.
nicest man on the planet.
Yeah, like this. And you know what? I just have like.
The first
Take
time
all
we
my
watched
free
it,
drugs.
it was just so funny. Like, here, like he's just going around a party. Here, have some drugs.
Here's
Hey,
some
does
drugs
anybody
for
want
you.
some drugs?
You want some drugs? Here's some special drugs.
Hey, you guys are assholes, but would you like some drugs? It's a lot of fun. You know, it's just like this whole idea
mean,
of this
and, like,
guy
yeah.
giving away so many drugs.
And the thing is, like, our super nice drug dealer. Like, I believed him.
Yeah.
Like, I believe this dude, you know, if this dude's a real drug dealer, that's probably how he is, you know? Like, he bumps into, or he doesn't even do it. They're at a party, and
The
these
skanks, yeah.
skanks bump into him, and they're like, excuse you, and the guy's still like, here, have some drugs. And so, like, he's just this super nice dude,
Well, and
trying to get laid, trying to give out some drugs. Like,
and you would think that like he's giving out drugs and it's gonna be like, oh, he's killing all these people with these drugs, but they all end up being fine.
they're just drugs.
Yeah, they're just drugs.
They're just
Another one of my
Kids
favorite,
don't do drugs. But,
yeah,
you know,
don't
they're
do
just drugs.
Yeah,
another one of my favorite things is the hookers outside the gas station.
yeah.
Like, the hooker banter is
They were
hilarious.
pretty
yeah,
fun,
yeah,
yeah.
they were probably the best part of the movie. Like, just maybe not the best, but
I
they
would say the
were
best
they were up there of being totally acceptable and entertaining.
Between
sure.
them and flannel shirt guy, I
Flannel
think.
shirt guy.
Flannel
Oh,
shirt
the
guy.
Yeah.
the big the hillbilly dude,
Big hillbilly
big
dude.
hillbilly guy.
I think we'll circle
we'll-
back.
we'll
We'll get
We'll
back
get
to
there,
it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But, like, okay, so this drug dealer dude's just out cruising around, decides to leave this party full of assholes that don't want his free drugs. And he ends up
Don't
at a
do
gas
drugs.
station. Again, this hooker lady's being mean to him. He gives her a cigarette. Like, here you go. Like, just chill, dude.
He's a swell guy.
And then he's just got to take a dump. He's just got to go to the bathroom.
yeah.
He's like, man, I've been pushing drugs all day. I gotta take a dump now.
And he
And-
was a real kind of guy. You know, he goes in and he goes, "Oh man, this place is a dump," but we half expected him to clean the place up for him. You know, he was being so nice to everybody.
Yeah, he's like,
You
is
know.
there a bucket and a mop, a muppet.
A muppet? Is there a
Is
mop
there a
bucket?
muppet?
And it was even
Muppet
funny, like
montage.
like there was a point when he's in the bathroom and he's like checking himself in the mirror. He's like, it's cool. Like, we're gonna get through the day today. There was just
He's,
this
like,
vibe
pumping
of like,
himself
yeah,
up, you know?
yeah. He's just like, this is just a good guy. You know, he's kind of a scumbag, but
He's got a pretty cool car.
He's a scumbag with a heart of gold, to be honest.
And a
think.
GTO.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
I don't. It's not a GTO. It's a Tempest. I
Oh, was
think.
it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was hard to tell.
Tail lights, brother.
I believe
fair
him
enough.
over you. Cars.
The front end looked like a GTO. I'm sorry.
Well, GTFO.
They're almost the same as that car. Anyway, regardless what his car is, GTO, Tempest, whatever. The car from Last Action Hero, painted red. Who knows? But he's got a cool car, you know. He goes into the bathroom, and this bathroom scene, you know, truthfully, the whole drug dealer scene, like, as much as I'm glad he's in it because I did like him,
Totally pointless.
there's no point to it. And then, so, like, I want to get to this so bad. There's, like, this killer in the bathroom. And a really cool mask. Like, like Purge mask.
Yeah.
If this mask was a person in the Purge, I'd be like, hell yeah, brother, I'm behind you. But, like, this dude, like, this mask, he, like, keeps putting the knife up like he's licking the knife. It's like...
But you're not licking
Are we
the knife.
supposed to think that that's
your face?
your face? Like, are we supposed to believe this is
I
not
don't
a
know.
mask or something?
Well,
Yeah.
and I wasn't sure if that killer character, was that the demon clown in just another outfit?
No.
No.
Because they showed the killer clown, like, in the shadows of the party also right after
Yeah,
that.
like
Yeah.
following him.
But I believe they show...
The demon clown was probably just trying to score some drugs.
Yeah.
Where's that super nice drug dealer at?
I know Bert's around here somewhere.
I'm not going to
He's got
hurt
some coke
him,
for
that's
me.
for sure.
Yeah.
That man knows the spirit of Halloween.
So
Ecstasy.
the bathroom killer, it was just a smiling devil mask.
Right.
I believe shows up again later in the hillbilly truck. I think.
I hope not. No, because the hillbilly
I could have
guys,
swore I saw that later in the film.
Are the hillbilly guys the three dudes that are helping their friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are classic
soldiers.
movie monsters.
Right.
One's the Mummy, one's Frankenstein, one's the Wolfman.
But I could have swore I saw that mask in like
Or
somebody's
Dracula.
car or
One's
truck.
Dracula, yeah.
Like they're wiping out scumbags.
I think you're right. I think I did see the mask in the back of the truck.
So
But that scene is so not how they were depicted later.
yeah,
Like,
Right.
yeah.
like just...
It just didn't make sense. Like if it was, then it would have went a different way to me. Like, or it should have went a different way.
This
other
is
than the fact that they're just
almost
going around
like
killing
they
people.
mixed... This is... I guarantee you this is what the writers were sitting down thinking. This is almost like if they mixed Hellraiser and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween all together. Because we got the butcher knife through a wall. Like, that would be cool to see Michael Myers stab through a door into a guy's head.
Which I thought was good. And
But the actual motion of it, I hope you can see us. He's like this.
Right.
Like, it's not going through a wall,
Yeah.
brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was slow.
The little bit of
Again, though, the idea was cool
I really
a
like
little
the
bit
idea.
better.
and terrible execution.
It was actually, since I mentioned Purge, it was a lot, that whole bathroom scene you could see in a Purge movie.
Yeah.
Like, this dude's obviously set up in this bathroom to kill people in this bathroom. There's, like, gimmicky shit written all over the walls and the door and stuff. And, like, there's etch marks of the people he's killed in this bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, this very well could be a scene, like, from Purge. Like, well, I gotta go to the bathroom during Purge night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in here. It looks like a safe place to take a dump. And then, boom. Haha, just kidding. Bathroom killers.
Yeah.
Just
The
kidding.
bathroom killers.
Psych.
That's what we should have called this one.
So
instead of
was-
drug dealer, but-
So the drug dealer guy called or texted the
number.
for a good time number. What if he didn't do that? Do you think he would have walked out of there?
No.
No.
No. Yeah.
He was done for as soon as he walked in.
Yeah.
Well, and when he walked out of the bathroom stall and the big black dude was standing there with blood all over his
Oh,
face
yeah.
and dripping down, and
I
he's
completely
like,
forgot about that.
he's like, "Hey, go away! Did you take a picture of me?" It's like, the dude is about to fall over dead, obviously.
Well, it's Halloween, but yeah.
He might be hopped up on his own product. Though. I'm surprised he didn't like throw a pill at that guy or something.
Here's some drugs. Leave
Take
me
free
alone.
drugs.
There was some good CG enhancement in that scene. I don't know if you caught it.
No,
So
there
after he
wasn't.
got stabbed in the head,
There's like blood.
they did
splurting.
some spurting. I think that was a nice little
terrible.
touch. You didn't like it?
Dude,
No.
it didn't even connect to his head.
It looked
floated.
like it was laid over his head. Like
it floated away from his head. It started here and squirted out.
I thought it was coming out, but
yeah,
maybe I wasn't looking at it.
It was terrible.
It might have, thinking back, they might have been trying to make it look like a stab wound, but it just
go practical. To all you filmmakers out there, go practical as often as possible.
With a pump squirting some blood out.
Yeah.
It just looks so much better, so much more believable.
Because blood would squirt out.
It would dump out.
Yeah.
I mean, if the few
would,
videos
ploop,
I've seen of
plop
whatever,
out.
yeah, it would just blah blah blah. It would just come out. And that's fun.
What kind of damn videos are you watching? Guys getting stabbed in the head in the bathroom.
Our buddy Robert back in the day, he would be like, "Hey, check out this video of this guy committing suicide or whatever, kind of stuff."
I remember those.
I've seen things, man. I've seen things.
All right, so what?
But anyways,
so what was the next scene after all that?
Was it necrophiliac?
Was it the
necro?
Yeah, that was just
Who was
another.
also at the party with all the drugs.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she was one of the people that ended up getting the drugs, and that's what caused.
Yeah, she did get the drugs.
Yeah, he handed her the drugs.
That's probably another one of my favorite quotes from this movie too. That girl. We'll get to it.
Yeah, so I missed the whole part where she was actually on drugs. I just thought she was.
What are you talking about? The whole scene she was on drugs. Do you not understand the scene?
So,
I just thought she was fucked up.
She was on drugs.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Right,
drug dealer guy gave her the drugs. Then they showed his death. Like, they went through that whole thing. Then they go back to her. She gets stood up by whoever.
Right.
And she gets a text
message. She goes to work. Then she gets high at the morgue.
Man, I'll be honest. I must have blacked out in that part of the movie.
The beginning of this could have been like crazy. This one here, I feel like with this short in particular, they had a really good idea. They just went really, really weird, like extra weird. Like they were probably like, man, she gets all drugged up, and then all the bodies come to life.
Right.
And it's like,
which is sweet.
Oh man, that sounds great. How about she tries to have sex with this other dude? And they're like, Steve, shut up. Don't talk like that. And then they're like, they write out this really cool story. And then they're like, all right, Steve, proof this. And then Steve puts back in the sex scene. And nobody ever double-checked Steve's work. Because this whole thing, like, so she's sitting on the steps. She gets, stood up by this dude. She gets a call or a text from her
boss.
Emergency, I need you to come in. I'll be there.
Which, I need you to come in to the morgue in the middle of the night for reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Because these dead people...
Why is he even working?
This dead guy's going to be more deader in the morning if you don't pull all his guts out.
Are you on guard? I don't understand what's happening. Were you planning on... I don't get it.
She's not a very good guard.
Yeah. So I like just the reasoning that they're even working at that point. Well, like, why? I don't get it. But
there's always, in movies like this, there's always somebody at midnight,
right,
hot on the pursuit of an autopsy.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is always like that. There is always that person at the morgue, like in the middle of the night, cutting somebody open.
Well, as we've said,
I feel like I want to check.
There is not that.
I feel like I want to check and like see like at these morgues and be like, do you guys work midnights all the time? Like, is that what you do? I just want to know. Just see if that's at all in reality.
And they all just slowly
be like,
turn,
no, like we clock out at 8, man, like or 5 or fucking.
I'm very strict 9 to 5.
Yeah. Who knows?
I get it. Like, okay, so if there's an accident or something. Not even an accident, because they'd have to be pronounced dead first. If the body comes in the middle of the night, somebody's got to be there to get it. Maybe because they're awake. I'm just gonna start on this now. I'm already up. Like I can see that.
Yeah.
But like, hey, urgent! I got to get out of here. My kid's puking. You think you could come in and finish up, starting this whole thing? And they're like, totally understand. I'm on my way.
By the way,
1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
By the way, don't fuck the body when you get here.
Yeah.
Stop spoiling it. No, this this whole scene, I want it rewritten and I want to rewatch it because I don't think it needed the having sex with this dead guy. We don't even know if they actually were having sex. She obviously made it seem like they were having sex, but I don't think a dead body can do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Science, you know?
Science.
Science over fact. Or both. But the scene I'm talking about, she gets to the morgue, she pulls an acid tab out, and she's like, sell me these shitty drugs, or give me these shitty drugs. She puts it on her tongue and goes, ooh, coconut, and then starts tripping out.
Right, yeah.
That, ooh, coconut, that made me laugh. But then, like we were saying before, she climbs up on this body, and she starts trying to have sex with this body, and he wakes up. And obviously this is the start of her trip.
Yeah.
This whole thing, like, trip and have all the dead bodies, like, turn into crazy zombies and freak out and be all, like, PTSD because you had this bad trip and, like, all these zombies and, like, then, like, show her hours later just, like, completely geeked out, like, on the floor and nothing's changed.
Yeah.
And this was all in her head.
Right.
Like, that's almost scarier than there's just no reason for her to have climbed up on that body and tried to have sex with him.
She's
there is a reason, just not a very good one.
There's not a reason.
My boyfriend dumped me. Let me bang this dead guy.
Let me bang this lifeless corpse that is lifeless in every manner that's not going to work.
Yeah. It's her sex doll.
And our demon shows up in that scene as well. Our demon clown.
Yeah.
To lock the door.
Lock her in the freezer or whatever.
With the reanimated corpses all around her. And that's it.
The end of that scene.
It was like, okay, that was unnecessary. Let's move on to the next thing. That was like the vibe.
Had nothing to do with anything else, really.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, not saying that my point of view is the only way to look at that. Did you guys feel the same way about that?
Oh,
Did you feel like that? Do you feel like if you were writing that scene, you would have wrote that she climbed up on that corpse?
I mean, I wouldn't have, but thinking outside the box, sure. I just felt like that was just and the feeling of watching it the first time, and the first thought was, well, that was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I wasn't shocked in, there was no awe. There was no like, oh man, that was crazy fucking cool.
Right.
Like, no, it was just, well, that was just dumb.
Yeah, there wasn't. You're right. There wasn't like a shock to it. It was just more like, that was stupid.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot of scenes that were just like, that was stupid.
I feel like each individual story could have been a cool story on its own, fleshed out.
Even the one that I think we all like pretty close to the top. There were still things in that were just kind of like, that was dumb.
Oh yeah.
But, oh well.
So the next part.
Macro girl. Stupid bitch. Okay, so the next thing is the shortest notes I have. This is the guy that I think stood her up. Like, I think now we're following him.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I think this is supposed to be the
with the chick
guy.
that's dressed up like the cop. Is it?
Well, the guy... Yeah.
I wrote Fred Durst looking dude.
Yeah. It's basically Fred Durst. Fred Durst stood her up. That's why she fucked a dead guy.
So there's this guy at the party.
If this really upset her that much, I mean, I understand that she was probably into that way before.
She was probably wanting to break stuff.
Good for you.
Well
Good for you, Josh.
Cross that note off.
So at the party, there's this guy. His costume is, I guess, Flasher.
Yeah,
He was in tidy whities and a trench coat with a MAGA hat on backwards, and
that's when I saw him. That's what I immediately thought. He's just a Flasher.
Yeah. So like this part of the movie kind of goes into this guy, and then there's this girl. They were doing a... Wait a minute. I'm trying to think, because they were in a party doing 7 Minutes of Heaven in a closet, And then, but it's like, is that supposed to be the same party as like the rave party thing?
Yeah.
So that was the same party.
Everything pretty much has revolved around this. Well, half of it revolves around this party.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets weird. So this girl leaves, and she gets picked up by a character we learn more about later in his car that's called Free Ride instead of Lyft or Uber for obvious reasons. Not a sponsor.
Fred Durst, not a sponsor.
Fred Durst is a sponsor of somebody that needs his help.
Fair enough.
Okay, so this girl goes home, and there's just guys in her house broken. There's no explanation because these guys were just at the party that she was at. Like,
Yeah,
they all
that
know
didn't
each
make
other.
sense. I mean,
Why is he breaking into her house?
he's
then?
breaking into her house because he's pissed at her for not doing anything with him in the closet, is what I got out of it.
Well, he should have went with his necro girl. She would have obviously
That's
wanted
true.
to do stuff with
That's
him.
true.
Fred Durst makes terrible decisions, though.
Well, it's just one of them days.
Yeah.
This was, I think, one of the shorter shorts. I'm just going to jump right into it. The rapey dude tries to rape her, and he
Yeah.
gets cut up in a million pieces by the clown. And
Okay, so we'll get in. Let's get into the. So he starts to rape her, tries to give her drugs.
did this guy try to give her drugs?
He's like shoved a handful of pills in her mouth. She spit them
Oh,
back
yeah.
out.
Were they pills or M&Ms? Because maybe he was just like, "Happy Halloween, here's some candy," and she took it the wrong way.
Maybe, I don't know.
She's like, drugs.
So there's a little bit of a fight
Chocolate
scene
drugs.
because she like kicks him in the balls,
Oh, this is okay.
and then there's
There
a
is
bit of
more
a
to
chase
this because
scene.
there's a really cool scene in this.
What's the really cool scene in this?
Okay, so they were in the
nails?
garage and she shoots
Okay.
the air nailer into his foot.
yeah.
Like,
okay,
that was
so
cool.
Okay, so that was cool, but it was like a trim brad nailer.
Yeah. It's
And it was
definitely-
shooting
they,
out
they have
like
like framing nails in
14-inch
it.
nails.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It was a pneumatic nailer, I believe.
And it wasn't hooked
Yeah,
up
and it
to
wasn't
air.
hooked up to an air hose.
Yeah. Okay, but-
Okay, that's one of those Hollywood things that happens a lot, though. Like, oh, I've got a nail gun, and you're like, well, it's not hooked up,
Yeah.
and that's not a battery-operated nail gun,
and it's a
like-
brad nailer.
and it's a brad nailer, and
So it's not a.
it's not going to
Oh,
function
this guy's
at
name.
all.
His name was Matt. It wasn't Brad. Because that would have been perfect. Ha! Beat you to it, sucker.
But
Anyways.
and yeah, he gets a few nails in the foot, which was nice.
Yeah, that
And
was
then
But
he
it was
pulling them
kind of
out.
weird. Like, she runs into the garage and she's looking around frantically, and there's like axes and rakes and like just like on the wall. There's
Yeah.
plenty of weapons in your garage. So you hide under the car, and for some reason there's a nail gun under your car.
Oh, it was under a workbench.
Was it?
Yeah, she was under
Okay.
a workbench.
Yeah, I'm working off my memory, and that's not always the best way to go. But so yeah, the nail gun that everybody who knows how to use a nail gun is like, that's not how it works, which takes me out of the moment, which drives me nuts.
Yeah. It's just taking 2 seconds to hook an airline to that.
Yeah, or yeah, something. But
Could you imagine though that scene? Could you imagine that scene
trying to
like
hook it up.
he's like looking for her, and you hear, and then
where the air compressor is going.
and then like he's like, "Where are you?" And it's like, and he's like just standing there. He's like, okay, and then like a minute and a half goes by and it clicks off, and then it's like into his foot.
Like, let's go,
But just
motherfucker.
standing there, like tapping his foot while the air compressor's running. Like, all right, come on. That would have been funny.
It would have been funny.
I would
I would have
down.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So she nails his foot and runs away. He takes chase. Every few steps, he's got to pull a nail out of his foot.
I liked that.
which
I
was
forgot
fine. I
about
thought
that.
it was fine.
I think when we got to the end, I completely like kicked everything else out of memory because
Yeah.
I liked that he was kind of like stumbling out of the garage and like he'd reach down and pull a nail out, reach down, pull a nail out. I was like, oh, that's
The only thing
cool.
about scenes like that is that would be so excruciatingly painful. Like, it's kind of like a horror movie trope, or a movie trope in general. Like, oh, I just got this needle in me, I'll be fine. But it's like you would be crippled on the floor, screaming, holding your foot. Like,
You got a needle in you now, but in 12 years you're gonna have HIV, sucker.
yeah. But
Right, have you ever seen Home Alone? Like, that's how that works.
that's how it works. Anyway, that always bugs me, but it's like, I'll let it go. Like, it was still a decent scene. So he gives chase. She comes across a chopping block, like somebody, like one of her neighbors has a wood chopping area, and she picks up the axe. Do you remember this?
Yeah. This is a really This is a really weird scene, too.
Yeah, swings at him, like, he ends up catching the axe, which, like, it's really stupid and brave to
Try and
rush
catch an axe.
And then he hits her with it, and the head somehow breaks off.
But she's not
At
stabbed.
the thickest
she's-
part of the
yeah.
axe handle, it broke.
And is this... The other movie thing is like, oh, the head broke off of this. It's worthless now. Like, no, you
Yeah.
still have a
claw.
cool stick
Yeah.
in your hand. Like, you basically have a baseball bat now instead of an axe. You
Well,
can still
a lot of this-
fuck her up.
A lot of this, like, okay, so your movie trope nail thing. Like, if you think about it this way, like, this dude's gonna be in some serious shit if she gets to the authorities. So he kind of needs to put that shit aside, because your main goal right now is, I gotta get this bitch and stop her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that might... Like, have you ever hurt yourself in the moment and not realized it until later?
Yeah. I mean,
Like, it
I
could
could
be
see
something.
that.
I mean,
yeah.
it kind of be something like that. But when the axe broke, like, that's just dumb.
It was-
And then,
yeah, it was
like,
a
to
plot
throw the
damage.
handle away, like, let me show you how much of a man I am. I'm gonna do this with my bare hands. Like, an axe doesn't break there. That's the thickest
I
part
mean,
of
it
the handle.
can, but it wasn't even
not
an
against a
old
human
looking. It was like a
being,
brand
first hit.
new axe.
Even if you hit somebody with a broken axe that's like taped together with scotch tape, it's gonna hurt like a son of a
it's
bitch.
still an axe head.
It's still an
Yeah,
axe.
it's still a sharpened piece of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made for chopping.
Even if you like just toss it at her,
Yeah.
like she's still
So-
hurt, you know.
Yeah.
So the axe breaks. He tosses it. She crawls over to a swing set, and he follows her over to the swing set, and immediately tangles the chain around his own neck, and it's just like,
What is this
It didn't
thing
even-
hanging from board? Oh, this,
like he basically grabbed it and wrapped it around his own neck, and you're like, what the fuck is he doing?
Well, he did wrap it around his. I thought, okay, so the way I took this was he was being possessed by the demon clown. The demon clown was
I didn't
making him
feel
do
that
it.
at all,
Because that
but-
was the only thing that could possibly explain what the hell was going on.
I think the idea was that he was struggling and she was like trying to work it around his neck.
Yeah, I think it was.
Is what I think
that's
was
what it's
supposed to be
happen.
happening.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But it's like you can't just walk over and immediately put it around your neck and expect the audience to catch like what was supposed to happen.
Right.
Because the dipshit just literally wrapped a chain around his
He
neck.
choked himself out.
And then
He's
the
like,
girl
when
is
I'm
like,
choking her out, I'm gonna choke myself out. This is gonna be awesome.
like if he would have been like, all right, I'm gonna autoerotic asphyxiate while I murder you. Okay.
I took it a little too
question
far.
mark?
Yeah, I guess. And then she pulls down on him, chokes him to death. He dies. She passes out, I believe.
Well, I think what happened was, I think he wasn't dead yet, and I think he either kicked or hit her.
I think he
I think
kicked
he
her.
knocked her out because I think the idea was that he was gonna overtake her, and that's when our demon clown steps in.
And cuts the dude up into bits, which
was cool.
was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't too bad.
I think what she ends up waking up and seeing his severed head, like on the
top of the slide.
At the
or
very
whatever.
end.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
at the very end.
Yep.
So yeah, okay. So our demon clown strikes again, kills this rapey dude. Yeah, that's fun. That's cool.
Not for no reason, because the dude
he was a
creep,
raper.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, just like this clown doesn't. It doesn't like it's not cohesive at all.
Right.
Yeah.
These stories just jump all over the place, and we're just supposed to believe that this clown has some motive to be where all these people are.
Yeah.
For no reason. Maybe he was trying to get some drugs off that dude. Who knows?
It's like, guys, I just want clown drugs. That's all I want.
Just want clown drugs.
All right. Do we want to move on to the next?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll
let's-
move on.
Yeah.
This is our veteran buddies.
Yeah, this is kind of the introduction to the veteran guys. So it starts out with the not Uber driver guy.
Right.
Yeah, dressed as Dracula.
Yeah, and he did like him as an actor was doing well. I thought like I was cool with him.
This was
I was actually fine
Let me
with
see
this
this.
whole kind of series of that group of guys.
the
Yeah.
next two. I'd say were the better. of the whole bunch. I'd say this story and the story after. I'd say, well, not the whole story after it, depending on how you look at it, because I have the radio hosts broken down in their own thing.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but I'd say that this, like, I understood why these guys were doing this.
Yeah.
And I related to these guys. The acting really wasn't that bad.
Right. I agree.
There were some little things here and there that I was like, but
they did
not too
did
much.
feel
I mean,
like bros, like,
Yeah,
who've known each other.
so the kind of the story to kick in here is they all served together in some branch of the military, and one of their friends is infected by something, and so they band with him to help him. So you have three of them that are human beings, and the third one is like a were-Batman kind of guy. Yeah, I mean, like, was he a bat? Like a bat man?
I guess,
a
like
man
a
bat? A were-man bat?
like your big hulking vampire type ideal or whatever, but I don't know. Yeah, it was not explained, which I'm okay with.
He turned back into a man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I thought
It was something that. So
It was
okay,
Man, Bear,
so
Pig.
basically what happens is these soldier buddies, they go around and they collect scumbags around the town.
Yeah.
And there's some scenes of that, of like the dude picking up one of the hookers and taking him to meet her pimp. And then there's this like action fight scene of two of the soldier guys beating the shit out of all the pimp and his buddies and stuff, which was fun.
Out of the
It was a
pimp
little
gang.
weird. It was like, okay, this just turned into like an action movie for a minute.
And the set was weird because this like pimp gang, they're just sitting in like a parking lot at a table.
Yeah,
They're not-
that was kind of
They're
weird.
not like in a building or in like a house or anything.
And they
They're
had
just-
some guys moving boxes behind
Yeah,
them.
there's like this big production going on. Like these guys are into some stuff, but
I
they're gonna
guess.
sit down at a table in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Had a couple guys carrying a plate glass window back and forth across the street, you know?
Oh no, we're just moving this window back and forth. Those guys
Don't mind
moving
us.
chickens.
Is this where you want the window replaced?
Yeah. So okay, so you got fight scene, which was, it was all right. It kind of introduces the big hillbilly soldier guy who we all enjoyed.
Yeah, I thought
He was fun. Like, you
Honestly,
believe
all
that this
three of
guy
them-
would kick the crap out of
Yeah.
anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
All three of these guys,
They were believable characters.
Yeah.
Unlike
they had
everybody
each one
else.
had their quirks. It was the mummy that showed up late.
the
yeah,
mummy
the mummy
is-
was roofied.
Yeah, he showed up
Yeah.
like he was like
Good
Who,
old
Lenny, I wrote
Lenny,
it down. Lenny,
yeah.
who is the guy who turns into the demon guy,
Right,
Or the
good old
the
vampire
is that
Lenny.
bat demon.
Who-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they roofied him so he didn't turn too early.
I can't believe you roofied Lenny. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
okay.
was fun.
Those guys, I mean, I believe those guys were friends. Like they
Yeah.
had more of a friend connection or anything than the kids did. And
Yeah,
I mean
right.
that might also be an age thing, like age of actor. So like the kids might have more trouble understanding what the friend dynamic would look like, where
Yeah.
these guys have probably played friends on films
Right.
or
Yeah.
TV shows often. These guys are definitely my favorite.
So yeah, the soldiers, they collect scumbags. They bring them out to this field in the middle of nowhere, basically naked, like down to their underwear. They put pumpkins on their heads. Sorry, I just rattled the whole table. They put pumpkins on their heads, cover them with blood, and then they're like,
And they tied their hands, didn't they?
yeah, they bound their hands, and they're like, we fought in the wars, and we get to come home to you people ruining our country. So it was like that kind of like that idea was like, okay, like I could understand that kind of thing,
It wasn't a huge logic jump.
right?
Yeah.
To something that would happen in reality,
Right.
or whatever. And they're like, okay, so you guys are gonna run like rabbits, and if you make it to the tree line, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
And while the scumbags are running to the tree line, they're also throwing like spears
Like
and
anything.
machetes
real
and just
weird.
like random shit
Real
at
weird.
Like
them.
Japanese
Yeah.
pole
They're just like,
Exactly.
we found these at the mall. We're going to throw them at people.
We got these all Rogers on Friday.
Yeah,
Please don't
yeah,
get too much
exactly.
blood on them. We're going to try
And-
to sell them again.
Yeah. So and then their one dude, Lenny, happens to turn into this demonic bat creature. And
Man bat.
Yeah, this man-bat creature, and is also attacking these people as they're running to the tree line.
From the sky.
So Demon Lenny, I'm just going to call him Demon Lenny, was an amazing design. Mm-hmm. He looked fantastic.
90%.
99% of them. Yeah.
The problem that we had with Lenny was his wings.
They were
And
bed
this is
sheets.
nitpicking. They looked like red bed sheets with lines painted on them.
It was like they spent... It was kind of like another Steve moment. I mean, they're like, all right, we just spent 6 months designing this form-to-fit bodysuit.
Fucking Steve.
And even the
needs
wings
something else.
functioned well. Like, honestly.
Yeah, it needs something else. And Steve's like, let's put some wings on it. And then they just kind of like cobbled together some good functioning wings, but...
That looked
just-
terrible.
But the material, yeah, it was just like a total miss.
And I feel like... Okay, I feel like if they would have CG'd the wings, we would have been bitching about that.
Oh, for
right,
sure.
right. Of course.
Because
I liked the
they
wings
did
better
have to
than CG.
They did
We
have to
are
CG.
hypocrites.
They did have to CG like him flying around and stuff, and it's like,
He
okay,
didn't do
well,
that?
huh?
That wasn't real? He didn't
Oh,
do it?
yeah, he wasn't really flying around. He can't glide with those. They're not fully functioning.
Oh, that's why I don't like them.
Garbage.
And, that's something you can get past because obviously it's a lower budget movie, whatever. But yeah, it was just, the main image of the character was amazing, and then he just had this monkey on his back that was like literally on his back.
They were wings.
Oh, they were wings.
Yeah, not a monkey.
Not a monkey.
There we go.
I must have been high.
On coconut flavor.
Way off.
Yeah.
That nice guy was over at my house the other day.
A big thing that I took away from this particular short is I wouldn't mind seeing a full feature-length movie on this. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see
Oh, yeah.
how he turned into this guy. Like, I want them to throw $1 million at this, a couple $1 million, whatever. But I want to see these guys, like,
Yeah.
on a tour.
It was cool.
and this guy get a bid or whatever and turn into this thing, and these guys make this hard decision that they're going to focus on this certain group of people to gather up to help their buddy survive. Like, I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
I
dug it,
I
yeah.
like the idea of this story a lot.
I agree. There was a lot of with the shooting. There was a lot of inconsistencies, which was bothering me, especially the second time around. Like, well, they're covered in blood. Now they're not. They're running this way. Now they're. It was just kind of very scattered.
Well, I think
the
that
way
was
they were
also
cutting
kind
it
of the point
together.
to it too, though. They wanted to make it seem more chaotic and
Yeah.
crazy.
But I mean, otherwise it was cool. And then so it kind of towards the end of the scene, for whatever reason, the power station,
This is another thing I did want to touch on, so I'm glad that you brought that up.
yeah, it was right there in the next to the field they were in, and I get it, whatever.
Like a substation.
Yeah, so one of the dudes randomly decides to throw a spear into it, and totally screw up the whole power grid.
I think he threw that spear at a person, and it just hit the substation.
He's just that bad.
He's just really bad.
He was the guy that didn't do sports as a kid. You know?
I mean, he was a soldier, but I mean,
He
I guess it
didn't.
doesn't-
He's a soldier.
He didn't
Your
do
first day of
sports.
boot camp is how to throw the spear.
It should be.
He's a soldier. He should know how to throw a spear.
Yeah, I guess.
That'd be wild. We've never served any kind of military, but I'm sorry if there is spear throwing in the military. I never really.
You
thought
would
about
think. I mean, talking about it, I guess it would make sense to have primitive weaponry classes in the military.
that. It's called hand-to-hand combat.
No, I mean, but I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot, but spears and whatever, I guess would make sense. I hear your dog.
My dog is going wild in the background.
Yeah. He hears us and can't get to us,
We're out on the
probably.
streets.
So
yeah.
that kind of... Go ahead.
I just wanted to touch on that substation too. I don't know if I want to get too much into it, and I guess we didn't
yeah.
really explain the real aspect behind this. So every one of these short films is being narrated by Chili Billy and Paul. So these are stories that they are telling on a radio station. We didn't really touch on that at all,
Which-
and I'm sorry for that. an hour into this.
Well, it didn't really make sense because they're telling these stories, but at the same time,
as if they were myths from years past,
right?
But they're happening in real time as they're saying it.
And I liked it up until the point of the spear hitting the substation and the power going out at the radio station.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, is this story he's telling happening right now? How does he know this? How does he know what's going on?
It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
And I kind of I kind of feel like, oh man, it's such copyright and cheesy, but I feel like we could set up the same kind of idea of an anthology through Sorry Spider, where we're the radio hosts and we're telling these creepy stories, but do everything practical. Put that on the back burner. But
there's a lot of back burners happening.
And it's supposed to be Chili, Billy, and Paul starting each one of these stories out, and then it fades into this going
showing
on.
It to us.
And then when the person dies, there's a funny catchline like, "Oh, I'd hate to go out that way."
Yeah.
You know, the radio voice and whatnot. But
so I guess if they were shown in the film as just being like old stories or urban legend type things, it would kind of make more sense. But the fact that they're showing them like they're actually happening
as he's telling the story
makes zero sense whatsoever.
And the synopsis literally says Halloween night, Chili, Billy, and Paul talk about myths and legends of the town. Like it doesn't say like Chili, Billy, and Paul, Psychic Radio 666, coming to you live as the action happens.
My God, how painfully annoying is the whole cliche radio troping that was happening. It was just like, all you scary ghouls and gals.
I love that stuff. Stop it.
I didn't mind it.
It drives me nuts. I can't take it.
I thought it was purposely cheesy.
Yeah, and I get that it was on purpose.
No, I hated that
people like it, but I'm so sick of it because I don't know.
Now it's impossible to have a channel 66.6 FM. That just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What is the lowest channel you can get? 80,
it's
88.1 or something?
87
At least
something.
to our understanding, like.
Listen, I'm a radiologist.
I believe
that's actually a real thing, isn't it?
I don't know.
Radiologist?
No.
No.
It's not the term for it.
I'm a radio scientist.
I'm a montage artist. A radiologist might be a thing, but I think it's called something a little bit more technical than that.
It's like earthquakes. I don't know.
Anyways, the tropiness of you're having a haunted night. Yeah, what's up, ghouls and girls, whatever, I think that stuff's cool. I like the idea that it kind of kicks me back to like when we were kids and thinking about like Halloween that way. Like, I like that aspect of it. But then when you're like living that every day of your life and you're calling your girlfriend baby ghoul, like, I don't know about all that. Sorry to the guy that actually does that I know of. But it's just weird. I don't like that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I liked the tropey. Yeah. I like the tropey haunted radio station aspect. Well,
I just think it's low hanging fruit. To me, like, it's too obvious, too easy.
If he would have been dressed as the Crypt Keeper, not with the Crypt Keeper voice, but like, say he's dressed like a ghoulish zombie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's doing the same tropey, like, hey, ghoul.
I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah. I can't even spit it out, but like, fresh out of the grave to rock your skull. Would you think it was different then? Is it just Chili Billy playing
Maybe.
this?
I don't know.
Hey, I'm going to just... I gotta let that dog out.
Wow.
So we'll cut this out.
Don't cut it out. Don't cut anything.
Leave the whole thing in.
Circumcision is a crime.
I understand.
On
schedule for...
Yeah, we could be more on.
That's your job,
Josh. I might be stupid.
Yes, you might be.
Well, there's not many of us.
When I'm feeling stupid, I just give a montage to Josh.
My cough is bad. Shit, where were we?
And welcome back to Station 666, fresh out of the grave for all you ghouls and girls out there.
Right.
Before I saw this movie, I was actually kind of stoked that it was
Corey Taylor.
Corey Taylor.
Oh, I know. That was like the big draw.
Yeah.
That was
I think
sincerely
that's
the
one
big
of the
draw.
only draws. I mean, okay, so watching the trailer before seeing the movie, it's like, this could be good. It's probably going to be awful. But hey, it's got Corey Taylor in it.
I didn't think that at all. I honestly, when I came across this and threw it into our chat, I was like, hey, Corey Taylor, like,
Yeah.
anthology, they're telling the story, like, that's got to be pretty cool. And so with the anthologies, I figured, like, hey, they're shooting these short, quick little horror scenes. Corey Taylor is Corey Taylor, so I mean, like, the horror's got to be on key.
Right.
And I kind of thought that he was kind of stepping into a role like Rob Zombie did. And he's just a dude.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
just
he
kinda-
didn't really bring... It didn't feel like he brought himself into it.
He brought the voice of Chili Billy.
Chili Billy.
Chili Dog Billy. We cut the dog out. Because I ain't hungry no more. All right.
So they blow up the power station, which cuts out the power at the radio station. And then because Hollywood, they turn the breaker back on and get power back.
I think it was supposed to be a little bit
If it was
more-
supposed to be like an emergency generator, I would get that. But
it wasn't.
I felt like just an offhand comment would have been enough to be like, hey, go turn on the generator. Or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
something
simple.
along the line. Did they say that, though?
I was looking for it and I didn't find it.
Okay.
Or listening for it, whatever. But, yeah, I didn't catch it. But...
And it
I
was
don't
kind
know.
of like chaos, too. A quick little, Paul, hit the generator.
Yeah.
We got to get back on the air. Something could have been added.
Yeah.
Right. If it's not in there. I don't remember it in there either. Okay, so we're all in agreement that The Veteran Buddies is probably one of the better.
Yeah. It was the highlight of the movie, for sure.
This next is part of it.
Potential.
Part of it is probably this. I want to see more of the Veteran Buddies and the Man Bat. Like, I think even that title, Veteran Buddies and the Man Bat. I want to see more of that. I want to see an actual film about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that idea was really cool. This one was probably my favorite, just because little gimmicks they did, but like that Taps TV show and Ghost Hunters and stuff. Like, we're so flooded with this exact idea right here that we already kind of know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And they kind of hit that on the head.
I feel like there's a lot of movies coming out that are exactly the same as this. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a new material. It wasn't really a surprise. It kind of went the way you'd expect it to go.
But I kind of liked that it wasn't. I kind of liked that. I liked that there wasn't really a surprise to it, and I liked that it was more realistic than, obviously, like, a Man Bat's not very realistic. But I mean, like, it sucked me in more.
I get
than,
that.
And it had a cohesive story, which we find out the other half like after the story. But this story starts off a caller calling in, complaining about their family and everything their family's been put through because of this story and how dare you and this and that. But it leads into like a haunted house deal, and it's obviously set in the past this time, we know for sure. And this film crew comes in from out of town to basically ghost hunt this haunted house or a house that is haunted, where a tragedy had happened way before that. I'd say easily 30 years before that. Judging by age of
probably
character.
around there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. They kind of, they get their van stuck, trophy break, and let's split up, which I expected more to happen.
This part, even being one of the better stories, had the worst actors in it in the entire film.
By far.
for
Like,
sure.
it's stuck. What are we going to do? Like, it was
Did
just
did he have an accent too?
I think so. The cameraman was just god awful. The character of the cameraman was just so bad.
I
I
think
mean,
the
everybody
only-
in the scene, I think, was rough.
I think the only person that was believable in the whole scene was the psychic, or
And even
the
she
main
was
host.
like,
I expected
was good
her to
enough,
Be, I
like-
expected her to be theatric though.
yeah,
Like,
Right.
She kind of went over the top because that character would have been over the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, like, the takeaway, I kind of only really liked her, but they go in the house. They're trying to figure out this kid burned to death in the house, and the house burned to the ground apparently, or was saved. I don't know. So she's trying to
because there was
connect
no
with this
fire
ghost.
damage in the
house was
present.
pristine. She's trying to connect with this ghost, and they did the cool kind of like Crossworlds thing where she's with the ghost boy in the past while the house is on fire, but they're trying to pull her out of the house that's not on fire.
Because crazy things are happening in the house during their investigation.
But one of the cool things about this when they did the thermal imagery. So they did the thermal imagery on the cameras, and then he pops out. I thought it was cool, however, in the air quotes here, or quotes for the viewers, in like the ghost world, he would have been cold body, right? Would he?
I would think
he would have been a blue
yeah.
image on the on the thermal.
Well,
I'm definitely picking that apart. Like,
right.
But I mean, like, just the use of thermal, I thought that was really cool. They switched that camera over to thermal.
If I remember right, I mean, they used techniques that are used in, the ghost hunting situations and whatever, and that's fine. Like, it was cool. But, yeah, I mean, that would be a nitpicky thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, so if we can kick it back even a little bit further, the original story is these group of kids dare this other kid to go into the house, and they have these Halloween masks on, and I believe one of them was a devil mask.
I think one of them was the devil mask, yeah.
I think that's where we saw the devil mask.
Maybe.
One of them, however, is a clown face, and it's a vintage, like, 60s, 70s plastic throwaway clown mask.
It was such a cool mask, though.
Yeah, it was creepy just because. And
kind
this
of like
kid,
that Michael Myers child mask.
Yeah. And this kid's just wearing it. It might have been that mask.
I don't...
We're going to have
It
to
was
take a peek
close.
at that.
Yeah.
It was close.
So this kid goes into the house. He's looking around. And this is what kind of was weird to me. So they talk about there being, like, vintage comic books in the basement. And that's why they, like, made this kid go in the house. Well, they lock him in the house. Well, the kid actually finds a stack of vintage comic books in the basement.
Right.
And I was like, oh, cool. And then he, like, fumbles this Zippo lighter that's inscribed a name across it.
Oh.
And he
Could it have a
fumbles
connection?
It might.
Oh.
Which we're going to talk about because it's one of the things I hated the most about.
Oh, I can't wait.
He fumbles it and lights the house on fire. Lights all these vintage comic books on fire. And I was like, no!
Not the books.
And he essentially gets trapped in this burning house and dies. This is the ghost that the woman is connecting with in this other story. I really liked this. I don't need to see a whole movie about it.
Yeah.
I think that they were tasked with writing a short film about a house that was haunted, and they were a ghost hunter crew coming in. And although there was some rough acting and some weird, we're going to split up now.
I thought it worked pretty good, though.
Yeah, I think task achieved. I think they did a good job of what they did. It was a fun story. It was a fun use of like the Crossworlds thing where this woman probably, faked everything throughout their whole series of ghost hunting, and then now she's like, oh shit, I'm actually face to face with the ghost now. But I mean, like she handled herself well. But I thought that aspect was cool. The story on its own, cool enough. Like it wasn't a rapey dude getting cut up, and it wasn't a dude sticking razor blades in a candy bar. So it was good for me. The drug dealer would have been cool if he was like a young drug dealer in there. He's like, hey kids, you want a bag? And they're like, we don't got no money. He's like, here, you have
starting at
this
a
one.
really early age of doing
He's just
drugs,
like a kid,
he's 6 years
He's
old.
like 7, yeah.
Yeah, he's just a kid. He's like, you all want a bag? And they're like, we don't got no money. He's like, nah, take
It's
it,
cool, man.
man. It's
You guys
cool. Hit me
like
back later.
Twix?
If you find any vintage comic books somewhere, hook a brother up,
Oh, yeah.
Like, that would have been fun. That would have been really, really fun.
So this is happening, and then after they kind of tell the story, or it was during, I don't remember how they intertwined it necessarily. The radio guys, it turns out that they're the two bullies or whatever from.
Just Paul.
Just Paul, yeah.
I thought it was Corey too. I thought Corey was the kid who ran away.
I didn't pick that up, but that might have been.
I just assumed that because he was a blonde kid, but maybe not.
I don't think was the case because of what happens with the demon clown later.
Well, no,
But it was
yeah.
Well, no, because
He was coming after him.
I guess he did say that that Corey did say that Paul told him that story.
Okay.
So I guess he wouldn't have been part of
Yeah.
it. So that makes sense.
Okay.
So anyways, so yeah, the ghost kid who burned in the house ends up as showing up at the radio station. And
and this was a cool image too. He had the mask on, and the mask
burning
was on
mask.
fire.
yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was
that was pretty cool.
So that was actually where the CG worked pretty good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that imagery.
As they're telling this story, the station catches on fire.
yeah.
And they're trying to figure it out. And as the story goes on, we see Paul looking down at a Zippo lighter that is the same Zippo lighter that was given to the boy that got trapped in the house on fire. So Paul is our dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's our bully that tricked this dude into it. How did Paul get the Zippo lighter back? Like,
I don't remember.
at what point did we get an explanation of why
the
teenage
building would have
Paul
burned
broke
down.
into
Yeah, I
a
don't
building and
remember.
stole the Zippo that was the key evidence that linked him to this responsibility? How did Paul get his Zippo back? Or does he just have a collection of gold Zippos that he carved Paul in?
Maybe it was in Lost and Found.
Quite possibly.
I don't know.
So we see our burning clown guy, our new clown man. His mask is on fire, and that's the only part of him that's on fire, and there's smoke coming around him. That image was cool.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to skip ahead. You got more on this part right here?
No, not really.
Let's skip ahead. Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
So, Chili
excited.
Billy escapes the radio station in the nick of time. Our demon clown follows him out. Or our ghost clown comes out and turns into demon clown. So we're supposed to believe maybe this spirit of vengeance is the kid that burned in the fire, which
is
would make
cool.
sense of why he doesn't want to, why he's protecting the kids and stuff. But at the same time, it's such a stretch to link that together.
Yeah.
And at the same time, why didn't we use this burned up, charred kid in a clown mask? It doesn't
Throughout
he
the
doesn't have to
film.
be completely burnt. Like his clothes could just be
Tattered
tattered
and-
and smoky, and his mask looked burnt in ways. That would have been so much better than a demon clown.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
day, especially the demon clown we got. If your mouth isn't gonna move, but you're gonna have all them sharp teeth, get rid of them. Put me in an. If I'm supposed to believe you're in a mask, get that vintage, spooky, burned up mask.
Oh yeah.
Like so
That's a
much
very
cooler
good
that
point.
way.
Yeah, that would have been a much better image and character to link to. or
Well,
to-
and even
to latch
just
to.
just the character background story would have been so much better because now you have a reason that he's vengeance.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And which would have been friggin' awesome. Well, ideally,
It would have been
awesome.
better.
It would have been better. Yeah.
I would have been much more invested in letting go of the stupid things if there was more of a cohesive reason
Yeah.
why. And they shouldn't have shown me that image of that's who that was, because I was just like,
Right.
and like at the same point you could go to that demon clown was just looking like that kid to torment Paul.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I'm not going to subscribe to that in any way because I don't like that idea.
Right.
I want that kid to be the ghostly vengeance. Like
Yeah.
I want him. And so I think that they kind of. I feel like if they would have went through this a few times, this could have been an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like this could have been better than Trick or Treat. And I keep throwing that out there just because Trick or Treat was really high up on my bar.
So good.
I really like that. But so we see the demon clown going after Chili Billy, and just as he's approaching him, we cut to a scene of the little girl that draws from the very beginning. Tear the page up of demon clown, and poof, he's gone. She saves Chili Billy to haunt another night. And then we start seeing, we see a glimpse of what's the next one? It's the girl locked in the morgue.
Yeah, the girl logs in the morgue. They show one of the rabbits, the people with the pumpkin on their head in their
Still
underwear
running.
running down the street.
And then we see the girl getting woken up by her little brother that was about to be raped, hit with an axe.
Yeah.
We see her little brother wake her up, and she sees the ripped up corpse of a rapey guy.
Yeah.
And our veteran buddies are saying funny stuff to their friend about how sleepy he is because he was drugged, but
Oh,
the other
yeah,
dude
yeah.
throws out the line, "Yeah, it happens when you eat white people." I thought that was pretty funny.
So yeah, I mean,
overall, I loved this movie.
Coming back around to it, no, I feel like, all in all, it's spooky season. It's the thrill of Halloween, and I don't have any place of telling them that they suck at writing this film, because they did it, and there were parts of it that I did like. This film didn't necessarily agree with me, and I'm definitely not going to rewatch this movie.
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely a hard pass.
But Bad Candy too. Chili Billy and Steve. Yeah, so definitely hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass. So yeah, I think that's
That pretty much covers Bad Candy.
Yeah, I'd say that's this review for sure.
I hope everybody enjoyed.
Hope you guys enjoyed
viewing us this time.
Yeah,
Hopefully
hey,
all
we're
the cameras
gonna
worked out good.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do these video podcasts from now on, and hopefully it works out pretty good. So.
And I think we have a pretty good lineup of a couple movies we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Our next episode is going to be Malignant. Correct?
Malignant, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to cover Malignant. We also will be covering in the next few weeks Halloween Kills, which we're pretty excited about that one.
Too excited.
Yeah. Almost 3 excited.
Ooh.
Oh.
I mean, I'm excited. So yeah, that's 3 of us.
Good for you,
Yay!
Jason. Have you guys, kind of rambling off here, but have you seen anything on the new Resident Evil? Have you seen the trailer?
A little bit.
It looks cool.
It looks like it's going back to the video game origins, and I am so down for that.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
It looks a lot like one of the earlier trailers for the game. I really liked the idea.
Back to Raccoon City, and hell yeah. All right, well.
We're the review dudes!
We're the review dudes! We're learning how to wrap these up. This is our button.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and
like,
comment,
subscribe, check us out.
Shoot us a message. Tell us what you liked and what you didn't like about this podcast.
Yeah, we're going to be recording hopefully some shorts here coming up of our own fun. So that'll be cool too. We'll have some updates on that.
And definitely thank you to everybody that listened to our first podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a rambling mess. We were just trying to get some content up. Hopefully this one ends up a little better for you. But thank you so much to everybody that already has listened to that. If you haven't listened to that, it's on our YouTube. It's on our Facebooks. Check us out. Are we Sorry Spider Media on Facebook?
I'll have the link of everything posted in the description. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. We love you.
Well, see you guys next episode.
See you guys.